Some red-hot NBA playoff action last night, everybody. Good morning and welcome into Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hi, guys.
Good morning, Jen. How are you?
Here we go. Come on, Grizzlies. Show Draymond you're not a bunch of baby pushovers. He has called you out. Now show him up. Here we go.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. No, it's time to start.
You better not go down 0-2.
Okay, well, we're not going down 0-2.
Okay, you're not going down 0-2.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll hear about that.
Okay.
Somebody had their diet due today, Skip. My goodness.
He
All
always
right,
does.
gentlemen, let's dive right in. Without Joel Embiid, the Sixers were outscored by 15 in the second half during their Game 1 loss to the Heat. James Harden finished with 16 points, and after taking one shot in the fourth quarter, he said after the game, obviously we're missing Joel, but it's out of our control. We got to go out there and man up and be great, and I know we will. Shannon, what you think? Is James Harden washed?
In terms of wash, Skip, if you're saying, will James Harden ever be what he once was? No. So if that's your definition of wash, well, James Harden is washed. Skip, I think we need to get past that. James Harden, the Houston Rockets, James Harden is gone. He's not returning because what he's done is that he's 32 years of age. He has not taken care of himself. And as you start to get older, it gets harder and harder for you to maintain a level unless you're taking care of yourself. Skip, his step back, it isn't reliable. He can't get by people with the ease that he once could, and they're not giving him the calls now. So now the step back isn't good. He can't get by people, and the calls that he normally would get, they're not there anymore. So when has James Harden ever had, I've never seen James Harden shoot anything but a step back three, a layup, or a floater. He doesn't have a mid-range game. James Harden is not going to post. So things that guys normally get older, as Michael got older, what could he do? He could go down in the post, turn around and shoot the ball over you. Kobe, LeBron. You see guys that as they start to age, Skip, they find new ways. Well, James Harden only has only a few ways to score the basketball. And because with age and not taking care of himself, Skip, 12 of his 13 shots last night were contested. James Harden knew to shoot that three ball. There's nothing you could do with it. And then when you start to hug up on him, between the legs, and now he's going to the basket, either laid it up or hitting you with the float game. Skip, 5 of 16 last night. James Harden could get up 16 shots in a quarter. Now it gets harder and harder for him to get shots off, Skip, because guys are closer and closer to him. So the James Harden, Skip, I think the thing is, this is what we do. If we stop saying that James Harden in Houston, because he hadn't been that James Harden in a very long time. He no longer wanted to be that guy. He was in Houston. Skip, remember he missed those games, came in out of shape. First game back, he gave you 44 and 17.
He did.
Then turned around and gave you another 30-point double-digit assist game. You're like, well, damn, James didn't miss a beat. But he wasn't happy with that. He goes to Brooklyn. And although he's not required to go give you 30 or 40, he could, but he was more of a facilitator. You're looking at him, he's giving you 27 and 12, 30 and 13. And then all of a sudden, with the mandate come along, you're like, man, this is not for me. Let me go to Brooklyn. And now when Joel is out, because, Skip, he couldn't play like he played in Houston with Joel Embiid because they're not going to go for it. Joel Embiid is your best player. You need to run the offense through him. Now James Harden, okay, no Joel Embiid, Skip. I'm like, James, going to get him 30 shots tonight. 13 shots? What the hell is that? 5 of 13? Nah, that ain't going to cut it, James. In that situation with Joel off the court, James Harden got to be undeniable. The Sixers' best player. Last night, that was Tobias Harris. And Tobias, finally, we had a Tobias Harris sighting. Played really, really well. But, Skip, if you go back and look at the playoffs, James Harden really had one game against Toronto. I think that was the closeout game. That's the only time that James Harden really was like, damn, James Harden kind of looked like James Harden. Facilitating, did a great job of scoring, shot a decent percent from the field. But yeah, Skip, he's not the same guy anymore. He's not the same guy. And now with no Joel Embiid, what can the Heat do? Give him that same old Trae Young treatment, the ice treatment.
All right. Are you finished?
I'm finished.
It is my turn. All you need to know about last night is somehow the Philadelphia 76ers at the Miami Heat, the team that I picked to win the East, led 51-50 at halftime. That's all you need to know.
Right.
And then the second thing you need to know, that in the second half, James Harden attempted all of 4 shots. He made 1. He got to the free throw line once and made both of those, as he is always want to do. That grand total for him in the second half, 4 points when his team needed him the most without Joel Embiid. The superstar, who is James Harden, who used to be James Harden, gave you 4 shots and 4 points. It's not obviously enough.
No.
He was hiding from the pressure to produce and perform in the biggest game of the year for him, because you said scale of 1 to 10 yesterday, the pressure on him was at a 10.
Yes.
I said it's at a 5 because I can't even see him anymore. I can't find James Harden. And I tweeted at the end of the game, did he leave the arena and go to South Beach at halftime? Because I couldn't see him in the second half on the floor. Could you?
No.
He hid. He ran from the ball. He just tried to hide behind picks, and it was hard to watch.
Right.
It was unwatchable because he was unfindable in the second half, especially in the third quarter, which they lost 30-21, and they fell woefully behind early in the fourth quarter by 21. Remember, they're down 1 at half.
Right.
But thanks to Tyler Hero coming off the bench and lighting them up, and no James Harden, all of a sudden it flipped, that game did, on its head.
Right.
And that was that. So here we go with the game 2. There's going to be no Joel. Maybe he'll be back for 3 and/or 4. We'll see, wearing a mask. You said you've had the same injury.
Yeah.
You find it hard to believe he's going to be back for game 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, we're back to that operative word, washed. The phrase used to be, back in the day, washed up. But somehow LeBron James, master of the English language, has finally written off the up as redundant, I guess, because you're just washed. You're not washed up, you're just washed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I accept that. James Harden is officially washed. I agree with you. Whoever that guy was back in the Houston days, when he ultimately quit his way out of Houston, he also quit his way out of himself. And then he quit his way out of Brooklyn, and he quit his way out of what was left of himself, because we saw flashes of James Harden back at Brooklyn. So now here he is in Philadelphia, and I'm going to remind you, you said that the Sixers won this trade with the Nets.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready to back off that? Because it looks to me like it's a disaster of a debacle of a trade for the Sixers.
How do we know what Ben Simmons is going to do?
Well, that's the point. But I'll tell you right here, right now, you just declared James Harden over and out, and I agree with you. He's unfixable. He's unredeemable. He's unsalvageable, because he's not going to get suddenly any younger.
No.
It just looks to me like he just flat out, for all the reasons you so eloquently detailed, he hit the wall.
Yeah.
The age wall, where he's not taking care of himself.
And he's not that old, Skip.
He's 32, going on 33 in August, but still.
Skip, Chris Paul's about to be 37.
You got it. And I'll tell you this, this is year 13 for James.
Right.
I definitely, listen, as much as I criticize your man LeBron James, he's going into year 20 next year. I will take LeBron James any day or night over what's left of James Harden. It ain't even close.
Yeah.
LeBron's up here and James is down here. James just looks ordinary to me. He looks like just another guy.
Yeah.
If you told me he was a guy coming off the bench for the Sixers, I'd say, okay, I got it. You know, he's okay. He's just another guy coming off the right. Okay? So, given all that, when I look at Ben Simmons, he's just an X factor. But Ben Simmons is still 25 years of age. And we know he's got the demons in his head. He's got some psychological issues he's got to work through. I think the psychological are more than the physical issue.
Correct.
Maybe, as he says,
the psychological leads to the physical.
Okay? I got it. But at 25, Ben Simmons is fixable. And I remind everybody, he was Rookie of the Year, made 3 straight All-Star teams. He made 2 straight first-team all-defenses. I'll take that guy. Betting on him long-term, you keep saying, well, for the Nets, it's just a long-term play on Ben Simmons, right?
True.
Well, what kind of a play is it on James Harden right now? Because he's going to want a whole new max contract, right?
I think it's 5 years for $223.
Okay. He's got a player's option going into next year.
He opted out of that.
What is it? 47 point something. I got it here. 47.3. So he opts out, and Daryl Morey loves James Harden, but he's holding on to the James Harden that he discovered or traded for at Houston.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
that guy's gone.
He ain't that guy anymore.
So can we officially declare the Nets the winner of the trade? Because remember, they still got Seth Curry and they still got Big Penguin.
Right.
Andre Drummond.
Skip, it's only time will tell. I don't believe James Harden can be the great James Harden. I still think he can be a good player, but good is not good enough. Good won't win them a championship in Philly playing alongside Joel Embiid because he needs to be undeniable your second best player. Are we so sure right now that Tyrese Maxey isn't their second best player? And I don't believe you can win a championship with Tyrese Maxey. James Harden, Skip, I'm not saying he's not going to be able to put up 30 shots. So he's not going to be able to give you the numbers that he gave you in Houston. But he got to give you more than what he's giving you right now.
Yep.
5 of 13. What the hell am I supposed to do with 5 of 13? I need you now with Joel. Skip, there's no reason. You ain't got to worry about trying to feed Joel the post. Now I need you to go get me 20, 25 shots. That's what I need, James Harden. And he gave me 13 shots last night, and you mentioned 4 in the second half, 1 in the fourth quarter. How am I supposed to win?
You're not. So for the game, Tobias took 18 shots, Maxey took 15, and James Harden, scheduled to make $47.3 million, took 13 shots. That's all you need to know. He's not that guy and doesn't want to be that guy, because if he had wanted to be that guy last night, he would have taken at least 20 shots, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, you got to. He has to.
All right, so now we have watched James Harden, what's left of him, go 11 straight playoff games scoring under 25 points in those 11 straight games. That's a pretty big sample size, right?
Yes.
That's indicating washed in the end.
But, Skip, even when James Harden was at his apex, he was scoring 35 a game, 36 a game. He was giving you 30. He was giving you high 20s. His playoff performance never matched his regular season performance. So, Skip, I'm not expecting him to go give me 30 now, but I hardly recognize this guy. I don't know who the hell this is. Because, like I said, Skip, the things that made him great, the step back three, it comes and goes. He might hit one of those. He might hit one step back per game. The ability to get by people.